It's time for another Dice Tower review with the Board Game Knights.
Ready, my tallest.
Ready, my tallest.
Ready, my tallest.
Excellent. Bring me snacks!
Red shirts? No!
Hi, welcome to Board Game Nights. I'm Christoph Schrader.
I'm Sam Gillespie.
I'm Jessica James.
And today we're going to be reviewing Space Cadets Dice Duel.
It's a 4, 6, or 8 player real-time strategy team game.
And it was developed by Jeff and Sydney Engelstein.
Space Cadets Dice Duel sees two teams of players working as crew members on a ship, trying to navigate around a map and destroy the other team's ship. Everyone is given a unique role, and these roles include weapons and targeting. Their role is to load torpedoes and try to lock onto the other team's ship, as well as try to jam their signals. Shields, navigation, and tractor beams. This role assigns shields, determines where the ship is going to move, and takes care of additional roles such as tractor beams and mines. Engineering. The other positions on the ship require energy to do any action, and so the engineer gives energy around the ship as it's needed. And the final role is the captain. And the captain doesn't have any action that they need to perform, they just need to give orders to make sure everyone else is doing the right thing. And to make sure that the team is doing what they need to at the right time. The interesting thing though is that every role in this game is performed in real time, and each position will be rolling dice as fast as they can to get the result that they want. And once it gets going, it looks a little bit like this.
Ready, set, go!
Okay, so
Alright, we can get lots of tractors and...
What tractor
no,
beams?
that's right, come on, come on!
So ones and twos,
Alright, here you go.
ones and twos, and threes.
At any time, the captain of a ship can yell fire, and then all players must immediately stop and see whether or not they manage to hit their opponent. However, because there are so many factors at play, including targeting, jamming, torpedo location, the direction of your ship, the location of the enemy ship, and shields, mistakes often occur when to yell fire. The feeling you get when the other captain yells fires is a fear that hits you to your core, and when you realise they've loaded their torpedo into the wrong bay, the feeling of relief is unlike anything else.
Alright guys, now let's talk about what we thought about Space Cadets Dice Duel. I'm going to start out by saying that I had a lot of fun playing this game.
Yeah, it's really interesting because it's half an hour of just non-stop action. You don't ever stop doing something. You've always got something to do, you've always got something that you need to be focused on. You can never process all the information you need to at the right time, which is where the fun comes from.
Yeah, and one thing you ignore, one thing you fire a torpedo into empty space.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think I've ever seen a game that just makes mayhem the core gameplay, and that we have ever had a room at like midnight so loud.
Yeah.
I was worried the police were going to be called or something.
Yeah.
Because everyone was just screaming at each other, trying to figure out what to do next and when to fire the missiles. I was playing with the shields and the rockets here, trying to figure out just how much targeting I had to actually be able to hit them and how close we were. And I was like, alright, I got 2 missiles over them ready, front and back. I got shielding, targeting.
And I was like, awesome, okay, cool. And they've moved, and I just fired.
I will recommend this game. This game is not for someone with high blood pressure.
No, yeah. If you stress out easily with being told things, or if you're not a good captain, so you angry. And
it's a very unique experience, and the way that it's scaled between the 4, 6, and 8 players also is pretty interesting. That
I haven't played it with 4 players, but I mean that just seems a little bit.
Why would you play something that was 4 players with Dice Duel?
Yeah, I feel like if you've got 6 or 8, you play this. If you've got 4, it's probably better games. You'd be better playing Escape, maybe.
Yeah.
But I like a lot about the things. A lot of things in this game are really subtly clever. Like all of your movement dice make you do 1 forward movement before you do anything, and this really hinders all of your maneuverability.
Especially because you can't just go. You can't also just do 1. You have to do all 3. So suddenly you're like, I hope this sort of puts me in the right space of the board.
Forward and turn left
and then forward. Yeah, it's like, okay.
I think we did have a player once that just rolled whatever and just put it on the board, and he was just maneuvering so erratically no one could predict it.
That was me, wasn't it?
It might have been you.
You also
was, because then I was like, I end up here.
So it's forward, U-turn, forward, left turn, forward, right turn.
That was fortunate.
Well, it wasn't a hard game to teach to new people, was it?
No.
Yes.
Well,
It
wasn't that hard, but it's just that everyone has their own little roles, and even if you know your role really well, you sort of need to know what everyone else is doing. But I suppose if you've got a captain that knows the rules pretty well, it runs pretty smoothly.
The captain has to have played at least one game
I'd say so.
I recommend them playing at least the engineer ones.
Very good at multitasking. Like, I would be terrified playing the captain in this game.
It's not really that terrifying. The only thing you need to do is make sure that because the engineer's so busy just constantly rolling dice, like here, and it's just like I've seen so many times. I'm like, captain, that person needs ones, and then there's like 2 ones there, and they just give them the 1, and they keep rolling, and they roll the 1 away, and it's like.
Which reminds me, there was one game we played where I was given 2 dice to start rolling missiles. We needed to finish 2 parts of the missile to fire. We were close enough to fire, so I started frantically rolling dice, and this is where dexterity becomes an issue. I dropped both dice off the table, and they landed into a shoe convenently placed underneath the table.
You start practicing rolling your dice in a really effective manner,
doing it in a really
close
small...
call.
I dropped a dice!
Can't do anything.
You never learn.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's just like in Star Trek, with all the scenes where everyone's panically running around the deck, throwing dice at each other.
Losing their snacks off the window. I
don't know what you're watching, but okay.
The better version of Star Trek?
The better older version.
The better older version. Anyway,
now that we're getting swarmed.
there's a lot of other little things in there, like mines and such. They add a little bit of flavour to it.
I would like to be able to try doing bureaucracy.
It needs to be a roll on a ship.
It's not Twilight Imperium.
Okay. There is one thing about this game that does kind of irk me a little bit, and that's the way the shields work. Shields can be used to reduce the effectiveness of torpedoes, but it means that all of your planning, you can plan all of your locking and your tracking, your positioning, your missiles, you get all of that right, and then it all comes down to roll 1 red dice.
Well, generally...
I've had games where I fired 4 torpedoes, all of them missed. When they
You're not a very
should have.
lucky person, though.
Yeah, but I mean, it feels like while this game is a lot of luck based in the actions, it kind of sucks that it came down to that final dice roll that made you go, oh, okay, well, I did really well, our team worked incredibly well together, and oh, no, we lost because
to be fair,
there was one shield?
It is 50-50 that you break a shield.
Yeah, but it never seems to be that way.
It is 1 in 6, however, when you have to break 2
shields,
which 2 shields is...
But you'd rarely ever put 2 shields. This is just my advice. I'd put 1 shield, I'd have 1 forward, 1 back, and 1 side. And then I would always make sure that the 2 sides always have something to do.
The idea of advice in this game sounds so dangerous. In short, if you're thinking about getting this game, you're going to need a group of people that you can get an even number of people together. That's one thing against this game. You can't play with an odd number of people.
That being said, it's not a game I would mind sitting out and watching, so...
That too.
That's true.
But
if you do have 7...
If you do want to... It is very unique, we'll give it that. But if you do want to get a copy of this game, make sure you have an even number of people and people who are not going to get overwhelmed by the stress.
Well, then that's half the fun.
And people who are not going to sit there and be drawn around by their captain and not play along. It's just not going to work. So you have to play along with the silliness. But if you do, there's nothing else like it. It's sort of like taking the dice rolling in Escape, Curse of the Temple, and adding a really cool theme to it, and the movement on the board, and just... Escape was a great little co-op game, but it just sort of lacked a lot of replayability because it was just that it suffers from any co-op syndrome that once you've solved it once or twice, you're sort of like, yeah, okay, I'm kind of done with this. Whereas this one is because it's got a verse aspect of it. It never.
The other thing is that you're versing a person.
Yeah, exactly. So it really feels like a victory means a bit more.
Yeah.
And it plays very quickly too. I mean, the longest game we played was about 40 minutes, but it was so much fun.
That was fun. I had my
screaming into the night.
Yeah.
Alright, so let's wrap it up with our scores then?
Totally. I'm going to give this game... think carefully about this. I'm going to give it 8.
8?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a solid title.
I'm going to probably give it a 7.5. I don't think it's as high as some of the 8s, but I definitely think it's a good game.
I'm giving it 7.5 as well. It's a fantastic, fun-paced action game, but it's not good for all circumstances. It's not the ultimate be-all and end-all, but it's still good.
Yeah.
A lot of fun.
Yeah.
We hope you enjoyed our review of Space Cadets Dice Duel.
I've been your captain.
I've been your tourist.
And I've just been a mindless pawn.
See you next time.
Thanks for watching our review today. For more information about board games, as well as the #1 board game audio podcast, check out Dicetower.com for reviews, interviews, and more. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.